Candlestick charts, the superior stock chart that you should be looking at if you are aspiring to be an active trader. This is going to ultimately give you more information about a stock rather than just seeing the current price it's sitting at, where it closed and whatnot. So in this video, we're going to be deep diving into candlesticks, making it very simple to the point so you can understand what these things mean if you're someone who is brand new, and then how, of course, that can be applied to your own trading and how you can use that to understand what something means when you're just looking at this. It's not just random stuff that they call candles on a chart. It's not chicken scratch. We can actually understand this and decipher and get something out of this chart right here. So we're currently looking at Roku. We're using the Webull platform. This is a platform that we have linked down below and recommend for someone who is new to trading or is looking for a new brokerage platform where you can trade from 4 a.m. all the way to 8 p.m. Eastern. So full extended hours, and then of course regular hours, and it is a zero commission broker like many brokers these days. So really quick, let's dive into what candlesticks are, and then we can apply it to this chart, this example here in Roku. Okay, so here we go. Candlesticks. What are candlesticks? I don't want to just read this to you guys. I think we need to go in and actually look at this stuff. But to keep it as simple as possible, this is the best representation that we can get out of this from Investopedia. So when we look at a candle, that's this guy right here. We have the body indicated by the thicker box, and then we have what we call the wicks. The wicks, there's a wick to the upside and a wick to the downside. There doesn't have to be a wick to the upside and a wick to the downside if the opening or closing price happens to be the high or the low of the day. There wouldn't be a wick, and of course that happens sometimes, and we can probably see a couple of examples of that. So we're looking at just a black candlestick chart right here. There's no color, which would help interpret the move for the day. So of course, they're talking about right here opening or closing price. The color will dictate the opening or the closing price. That's what we're going to dive deeper into when we look at our own example. But all you need to understand is that the body, top of the body, bottom of the body, either there's an open or a close there, and then the wick indicates how much more range the stock had to the downside and to the upside intraday or intra-candle on that time frame, because each of these candles, you can look at different time frames. It doesn't have to be the 1 year, 1 day chart, which we're going to look at, but you can look at this on the 1 day, 1 minute chart, the 1 day, 5 minute, 20 day, 1 hour. It doesn't really matter. They're all going to work just fine. And now we want to dive into, okay, great. Here's a candle. Great. Cool, awesome. We get some more information out of this, but what does it really mean? So take a look. Here's a candlestick chart on Webull. If you guys don't know how to get access to this, it's in the charting feature up on the top. Click on the line style section. That'll give you multiple line style options, and we're going to have a video actually very, very soon going over hollow candles, but we need to do this video first on normal candlesticks. So you're probably used to something like this, okay? This is just a line graph explaining or showing us the price action of Roku over the past couple of months. You'll see this on CNBC, generally on the news, if they pull up stock ticker symbols. If you look up a stock on Google, you're going to see something very similar to this. This is more advanced as we're looking at like an actual brokerage platform, but you're going to see a line graph, right? Which is cool. You can see the points on the line and it's all great, but you don't really know what happened. Of course, we can see if we change this to a candle chart, we see completely different story than a line graph. Now, of course, roughly the pattern's the same, but we see a different story, and these candles are going to tell us different things. So first thing we need to understand, what's the difference between a red candle and a green candle? Okay, so a red candle means that from the open of that candle until the close of that candle, in this case, we are looking at the 1 year, 1 day chart. So each of these candles is in fact 1 day. If a candle is red, the stock opened higher than it closed. Okay, let's zoom in on some of these red candles right here. So what do we mean by that? This case right here, this stock opened up at the top of the solid body and it closed at the bottom of the solid body. Okay, red means the open is higher than the close, and the solid body is going to tell you the open and the close at the edges of the solid body. Okay, the wick gives you the range to the upside and the range to the downside on that given day. A green candle means that from the open of that candle until the close, the stock was up. The open was lower than where it closed. The stock was up. This is very easy to confuse with the stock being up on that day. This candlestick chart does not tell us the stock was up on that day or on that candlestick time frame. Why is that the case? Well, they're going to color code these candles just based on the price action movement of that time period. So if the stock is up from the open of this day to the close, they're going to give it a green color. If the stock was down from the open to the close, they're going to give it a red color. That is what you need to know. In our next video going over hollow candles, we'll explain a little more in depth and will be a little bit of a kind of next level piece to the candlestick chart that maybe you want to use and you can get more information out of the stock. But what else do we get out of the candlestick chart? Okay, so the high of this time period or that candle will be indicated by the top of the wick. The top of that wick, the upper part of the wick, that's the high of the day. The lower part of the wick, the bottom of the wick, that's the low of the day. So what we're going to get here on a red candle is the top of the body of the red. That'll be our opening price, okay? The bottom of the solid body of the red, that'll be our closing price. And the bottom of the wick, that'll be our low of the day. And the top of the wick, that will be our high of the day, okay? Or, of course, you can apply this to any candlestick time frame, so it doesn't have to be the day. This is the daily chart. I can look at a 1-minute chart and do the exact same thing. If we zoom on out, we can do the exact same thing in the past couple of minutes if just looking at a 1-minute or a 5-minute chart, and it would just be the high, the low, the open, the close of that minute time frame. Now, what about a green candlestick? Okay, so what does a green candlestick tell us? Well, that's going to tell us the bottom of the solid body, that will be the opening price of that day or that time frame. The top of the solid body, that will be the closing price of that time frame. The top of the wick, that will be the high of the day, and the bottom of the wick to the bottom, to the downside, that will be the low of the day. So there you guys have it. Now, why is this valuable? Why is this helpful to us? Well, it's going to give us more information. We can now get a better sense of, okay, if we're just looking at a line graph, great, it's going to tell us where the stock was that day. Cool. Okay, great. But if we look at a candlestick, we can get a better sense of range. Does this stock have a lot of volatility? Does it have a large range? And if our candles are very large, that's going to tell us that there's quite a bit of range intraday, which may be a great opportunity for someone who is a day trader who wants to take advantage of that intraday action. If we see lots of wicks, that could mean that a stock tried to push up or tried to push down, but then either the buyers or the sellers came back in and pushed it back the other way. So you're seeing kind of a battle back and forth when you have wicks on a candlestick. An example where that's really useful is kind of spotting a reversal right here. So take a look at this. We're pushing on up and we pulled back a little bit here. It looks like on the 16th of June. And we see a pretty big wick to the downside down to about 327.50 or so. But that was just a wick. It wasn't where the stock closed. The stock actually closed a couple dollars higher, and in the next couple of days then resumed a very big bullish move to the upside. So that wick was showing that sellers brought the stock down intraday, buyers came in, brought it right back on up, and then those buyers continued to stick around the next couple of days as the stock pushed higher over that next week and a half, 2-week period. So that's the value that you can get out of looking at candlesticks. It is the superior chart if you're someone who is more of an active trader trying to get more information out of a chart rather than just looking at an overarching trend, because this is ultimately going to be very helpful if you are a day trader, swing trader, someone who's looking to profit on the short-term price action or get a really good entry point on a given stock. So thanks so much for tuning into this video. Check out our other videos on our playlist tab down below. If you have more questions, feel free to leave in the comment section. Like always, the brokerage platform we use here is Webull. We'll leave a link in the pinned comment and description box to get 2 free stocks when you sign up and deposit with the platform. Also, we'll have a video out very, very soon, if it's not already out, going over hollow candles, the next step up in terms of looking at a candlestick chart. So stay tuned for that, or check out that video on the channel already. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up button, consider subscribing, and we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.